Siyanibingelela nonke emakhaya on this Wednesday evening. Sithinela nonke, we trust that you've been having a good day. We've been having a good and productive week. Kulesi sikhathi siyanibingelela on our program, The Reset Unshakable. Tonight, ngihamba with a few of our business people from AKCC. Ngizoqala ngapha on this side, on my left-hand side. The gentleman there is going to introduce himself. Yes.
Siyabonga mfundisi. Igama lami nginguRay Cele, ngiqhamuka kwinkampani ebizwa ngo-Upsize Investments.
Ngiyabingelela ababukeli egameni lika Jesu. Igama lami uNontwa Cele, ngiqhamuka kwaNtabelo Training Investments.
Siyabingelela abalaleli. Igama lami nguSipho Nzuza, ngiqhamuka kwicompany ethiwa Isivuno Auctioneers and Brokers.
Ngibingelela bebukeli uThamisibeko uphuma kwaNjiki Surveys.
Ngiyabingelela ababukeli, igama lami Lumkile Mtolo, vela company ebizwa ngo-Fairsure Employee Group Benefits.
Siyabonga kakhulu kunina nonke enibhekile emakhaya. Tonight we have quite an exciting program. It's no business people bethu. In fact, abaziwayo in our country futhi ngenze ukuthi nangaphandle kwalelizwe bayaziwa. So lapha ekhaya, just grab your coffee, grab your tea. Mhlambe futhi kuyisikhathi sakho sokuthi usudla isidlo sasebusuku. We just want you to listen and enjoy, and also just feel free to listen, and I'm sure from this kukhona okuningi ozokuthatha ozokufunda futhi okuzokusebenzela. Sike sithande ukuthi masivule iprogram yethu sivule eBhayibhelini. Njengamanje ngizokhuluma nje briefly about igama elithi innovation. Ngize ngalilandela ngalibheka lithi ukwakha kabusha, or to produce into entsha, or else futhi ungasho ukuthi uqhamuka ne-method entsha. Itholakala kanjalo in our dictionary, but I'm going to open a verse from the Bible. Sizofunda kuLuke 5 siqale verse 18. It is some men came carrying a paralyzed man on a mat and tried to take him into the house to lay him before Jesus. When they could not find a way to do this because of the crowd, they went up on the roof and lowered him on his mat through the tiles into the middle of the crowd, right in front of Jesus. When Jesus saw their faith, he said, "Friend, your sins are forgiven." Amanye amahumusha at least uJesu was so impressed ngefaith yabo. Now labantu, they came up nento ngasho ukuthi ba innovate, baba ne-innovation emqondweni wabo ukuthi nakho usifuna ukufaka uJesu, usifuna ukufaka umfowethu lana uzone stretcher ukuthi abone uJesu, kodwa kwenzeki babuka bathula bacabanga bathi no, asiqaqene roof. Now can you imagine bamndose uthi kwakho nabo abantu bafuna ukuzobona uJesu, ubafica baphezulu kwendlu bayaqaqa. These men needed faith and innovation. So njengamanje sikwi-reset unshakable. Isikhathi sokuthi anybody who's in business, anybody who's aspiring in business, ukuthi njengamanje angeke uqhamuke ngendlela yakudala kodwa usudinga i-innovation. So tonight we are just here to spark that innovation. Whatever you need or whatever thing ukuqala kukhona ngaphakathi kuwena. Kodwa sekudinga ukuthi lezi zinto noma ngendlela obucabangayo before ukuthi awuthi kuyi-innovator kancane manje. So we're just going to go into our program. Sisayiqala nje, I have a gentleman ngapha Mr. Nzuza. I asked him ukuthi mhlambe sifisa siphe i-testimony yakhe nje briefly ukuthi waqala kanjani njengoba namhlanje business person.
Thank you so much mfundisi nge-introduction yakho. Uyazi usayibeka, I'm picking up ukuthi these gentlemen were fearless.
Yeah.
Because you need to be bold. Uvula iroof yakandosi, yabona isizwe ngakanani. Uvula iroof yakandosi ukuthi undosi no-president laphana uvula iroof yakhe ufuna ukufaka ama-issues akho, yabona you must be fearless, must be bold.
Yeah.
So these men were fearless. Thank you so much again. You know, I like it when you're asking for that question ukuthi ngaqala kanjani. It's uqala kanjani, for me it's always a foundation. Because when during these times, evolution, innovation, go back, which because that is a strength to pambil. I don't want to take much of your time, but I know I used to wear that one short after school ngigijime ngihambe ngodayisa amagwinya nophaya kwi-contract eyenziwa pha kwakuthiwa avoka kuthiwa i-avoka manje. You know,
hostel.
That's a hostel, yes.
Okay.
So that for me, you know, you must understand now, you must be bold to knock ungqongqoze room ne room yes hostel. And also you must also be timed ukuthi no bangakahambi labantu abakhala phana bakho umgaqo ubafice. So that's for me is a humble beginning. Also ukuthi while I was doing that mfundisi, you know, there was a skill esaqhamuka because ngangihlonipha phela kahle kahle ngithunywa isalukazi sami sithi angidayisa amagwinya nophaya, but engikuphika phaya kulento ukuhlonipha kwami kwaphuma iskill esinye sokwenza amakhanda, where I was able therefore ukuthi mangifika laphana uphaya umsubanda ngibona ihluthu sengenza business sengigunda ikhanda lomuntu. And ngalokho for me it's I don't know ukuthi lo muntu ohlele ekhaya mhlambe oyitshetha kanalutho mhlambe ekhaya uhlele nesalukwazi esihola impesheni mhlambe esingakwazi ukuprovide lesa salukwazi mina sasiprovide ngoba ngicabanga ukuthi mangibuya le mali ngibuya mhlambe 100 rand ngaleso sikhathi 200 rand kodwa lo mali kakuthiwa hamba uthenga ukhari hamba uthenga impuphu kwenza lokhuzana kwenza ukudla abantu badla. So ukulalela for me ukudayisa lowo phalo namagwinya lawo emahostel lawo kwafunda kwaba neskills sokuthi ngenze inwele, and I was surprised sengenza inwele ngizenze be short. You know, I was one thing that yangithinta salukwazi sinye sendawo sengiqashe ingane zaselokishini uthi mama mfana wami lento yakho yokuthi uqashile ingane siyabonga, uyazi ukuthi umsebenzi uwenzile ungakanani, ingane lezi manje isiyavuka ekseni isiyahamba iyosebenza. For me that was fulfillment. So fulfillment ukuthi ngale kuba innovative kwami ngalokuba creative kwami sengicreate imisebenzi around, yabona. So shuthi ngale idea wena ohleli phe kwayo ungafuni shuthi kahle kahle ungakhimisa abantu ungafita imndeni yabantu, kodwa manje we are fearful, uyasaba mhlawumbe usaba ukuthi mhlawumbe into eyenzayo mhlawumbe ayidumile or ayikho in style or whatever, but uqala kwakho it means a lot. You might change lives. But ngeke ngize ngihambe kakhulu ngoba singamosheka isikhathi, but nje kahle kahle my beginning, and from there I've never looked back, and it's a foundation where if it's when you start again we can start again because the beginning was really humble and simple.
Yes. No, siyabonga kakhulu Babu Nzuza. Akwabangazi usho ihostel la kwaMashu ka A. That's where wayifika khona dayise ophaya emva kwalokho abona ukuthi nangubaba unesihluthanyana amfaka umshini ekhanda amgunde. So he became a business person enganakile. Wabona ikhono kuyena. Siyabonga kakhulu. Mhlambe currently what kind of work or business are you doing?
You know, against the auction match. You know, it's funny enough, and I recently had driver drive itekisi engibona ngikwazi lapho nafana kanti wamdayisela itilo baba udriver lo itekisi wamdayisela itilo baba ekseni ngo5 or 4 dayisela itilo namasemithi ngimdayisela itilo namasemithi before ngiye esikoleni as well. So manje ko surprise ukuthi umuntu manje ngihamba ngemoto enkulu uthi wena ngikwazi lapho ngakudayisela itilo mina. But from the time from the time manje ngidrive imoto enkulu it's a very different position. It's very surprising to that person manje usadrive lo tekisi mina sengikwenye level, but through God's grace umbuzo omuhle ukuthi ngenzani manje ngibiza ama numbers with confidence. Ngibiza ama numbers manje I'm doing auctions, but angithi manje ifoundation yokuthi ngaqala ngidila nabantu so manje abantu angibasabi because singakhile from that level where ngangqongqoza to a level where I have a crowd where I'm going to shout numbers. You know, I'm doing auctioneering, I dispose of assets. I've recently been selling inkomo nekapu nembuzi. It's an humbling experience. Mhlambe masithola isikhathi mfundisi ngofuna esikhulume negenge yethu ngoba yabona into urbanization yashaya. Ngoba manje yabona imali ekhona enkomeni nasembuzini iningi kakhulu. abantu ukuba sibe urbanize sahluleka manje ukuthi there is money, yazi ukuthi imbuzi iyanda nesikaphu siyanda ngoba siyazalana nenkomo so it's a very good, I think it's another subject definitely create negenge yethu sikhulume one on one nabo masithola ithuba. So nje I'm very happy, I'm very blessed. I'm calling numbers, I'm auctioning, I'm doing auctions, so it's an exciting thing. Yeah, thank you so much.
Siyabonga kakhulu. Thank you Mr. Nzuza. Mhlambe mangwalela ngapha sino Mr. Mtolo. Abaningi bazi ukuthi uLumkile uDr. Mtolo lona udokotela wamehlo. Kodwa right now he's currently doing different business from eyamehlo. So mhlambe nawe mathi usiphe nje little background of where you started off. Omunye akazi phela ubona ukuthi udokotela wamehlo mhlambe lo bhuti wayikhulelela eLalusha vele. Wazalela eLalusha or you know bena konke akudingayo.
Yeah. No, ngiyabonga mfundisi. Thanks for the opportunity to share and to give maybe a little bit of testimony. No, there's no such. Ngakhulela khona la kaMashu. I was born la kaMashu waEfu. It was never like that, and somewhere my parents ngaba a single parent, raised by a single parent from the age of 9 till obviously ngaba mdala. But to give a bit of history, I grew up la KwaMashu, and then from KwaMashu, Kulele Chesterville, and then from Chesterville, I boarding school. From a boarding school, I'm Pindang Atlalekaya, which is why I always say, Ingane once I boarding school is out. Really, ekaya kuba suba ma visitations. Yeah. Having said that, then I trained Ewesville to be an optometrist. But really, into push, I mean, more than anything, even going over in training, give an optometrist was the selling parts, the trading parts. I like the business part of the whole business, which is why ngapho andwami ufuna ngibe udokotela sengithathiwe ngathi no, I'm not gonna be a doctor because there was no trading parts. And what about being a dentist? Ngathi no. I like Leamelo because there was the part where you sell and trade. And then, to cut a long story short, I think I practiced for about 7 years back in Cape Town. And after that 7 years, then I went into business. When going into business, I went into telecommunications. And then along the way with telecommunications, in fact, my business partners was Kula and Chesterville. And we formulated a business called Oriel Group, which basically does the financial services business, which is what I do now. So our business right now, what we do pension fund administration. One of his companies, actually, we do that service for them. And so what we do basically is we collect pensions, and we then pay them also when people either pension or when they die. We also do what they call risk business, which is a fancy way of saying ama life cover, ama funeral cover, and ama group schemes, medical aid, and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, that's what we do now. So the challenge, obviously, now that is facing our business, and I guess everyone else, is shrink. The business is shrinking because abantu bayadilizwa, so there's not many people who are contributing our contributions, and also even the employers are finding it difficult to pay our contributions. So those are the challenges that we have, and some we've said to some of our customers that they must take our payment holidays until they come right, and then we'll take it from there when things stabilize again. So yeah.
No, thank you so much, Dr. Mtolo. Ngiyazi sanabanye, but what we're going to do is mhlawumbe my questions siphinde sibuye futhi kuma introductions wethu, so that we don't lose time, and also sigcina sikhulumile kunezinto ezijuicy eziningi bese siqalile even ngasemuva ngale. But I think of what I remember when we spoke on the last one, we mentioned that there is enough business for everybody. So what I would like to find out for umuntu ohlezi ekhaya nombani, what do I require to be a business person? Ngiyezwa abanye bathi no ufuna kube ne-CK, abanye basho kuhlukene. So I think let's just talk about this. What is required from one to become a business person?
Good question. Good question. Phyllis. We laughed about it. Ngale move. Mina, I know it's gonna be different views, but Mina, I would say you must have a passion for something first. I understand there is paperwork that you need to take it further, but before you go to paperwork, for me, if you want to sell, let's straight. That's straight. If you want to sell, if you want to cook, I heard one of our colleagues was sharing about the lady who started just cooking, and now is doing business of cooking, and the person can then formalize that and take it to another level. For me, you must have passion of something, and then that passion will turn to some sort of business. I know there's so many views, but yeah.
Kusho ukuthi esabekile nje ubaba uNzuza. Ibusiness ngendlela esiyidefine ngayo ukuthi whatever skill onaso okwazi ukusebenzisa wazidlulisela komunye umuntu wakunika imali sekuyibusiness lelo. Akudingi ukuthi kuze kube khona amaphepha azokwenza lokho. Uma uvuka ekuseni ucabanga ukuthi ngizodayisa amagwinya manje, uwenza amagwinya, udayisela abantu, bathenge, ususe-businessini.
Nokuthi nje ube umuntu othanda ukuletha ama-solutions. Bringing solutions to your prospective clients. Ungabe umuntu othanda ukubona ama-problems kakhulu, but bringing solutions for the problems that you see. Address them, and then you make money out of it. Make sure, but you make money out of bringing those solutions. Then you're in business.
Makai.
No, I'm thinking, bazalwane sisakhuluma ukuthi when we talk about, in fact, umfundisi ukhuluma nge-innovation. Umshazi wakhuluma nge-fearlessness. Ukuthi out of being innovative, lamadoda, they were also fearless. So I want to link and combine the two, and also combine what we are talking about now. If we've got those characteristics in you of being fearless and being innovative, you will definitely succeed in business. If you link them, you are going somewhere. You are going somewhere. Last time we spoke about affiliate marketing. I was very excited as well as ngathuka when I heard some testimonies about abazalwane bathi sebeyithengile incwadi bayifunda baze bayiqeda.
Yeah.
Mina ngikhuluma ngakayiqedi. I was like, this is what we talk about when we talk about passion. So when we come here and so khuluma nabazalwane sibagqugquzela, some they went and bought this book of affiliate marketing, Tami in the affiliate. Abanye sebeyithengile bathi sesiyifundile thina bamuntu sesiyiqedile this book. We are now starting what you spoke about in terms of affiliate marketing. So uma usahlele emakhaya uma sikhuluma about being fearless, about being innovative, begin to look into you as in what we call introspection. When's introspection and say, okay, I am now fearless, I am now innovative. Ngizoba innovative ngani. And go and start. You don't have to, you don't have to have amaphepha. Before I start, you don't need amaphepha of selling. You don't need a registered company to go and start selling amagwinya. You just need to sell and make money.
Yes. And then from there you can formalize. Obviously, you can formalize that once you've started. You know, I was looking at the people who are just cutting grass. You have good machine, we are cutting grass, you are doing, because manje, babundosi busy and bafuna ukuhamba endlini funa kube khona ingadi abe right. So if you're going to sell the service of ngizokugundela utshani, ngigundela ihlahla, you're in business because I'm going to exchange money with you. So, and then it's certain, if you take it to a different level where you want to then formalize it, where now you want to say have a profile, where now you want to, but you'll also build a profile based on what you know.
Mhlambe nje, one more question, something I post kuwena ngapho Baba Mtolo. Having registering a company, does that guarantee you ukuthi umsebenzi uzowuthola yini?
No, Fundis, thanks for the question. No, not really. I think that obviously, like the Holy Book says, there's time for everything. And I think that currently what we've seen in our times, especially post 1994, is that most people ran into doing business with the government. And we saw most people becoming billionaires, millionaires doing business with the government. Yet that was the time. Now the time has gone and passed. Now you don't need actually to go and register anywhere or anything to be in business. If ulaleli istori sabamzuza, waqala ethunya. The last thing on his mind was ukuthi fanele I apply a CK document or I ovula bank account or I register kuphi or I download any or I data or whatever. What was top of mind so that was the business of the day. And I think that's where our young people and anyone else who wants to start a business has to start ukuthi, what can I do around me? Into engayenza manje engangenisela imali, and that's it, and then build from there, you know. So quick answer to your question, no. You don't need any registration or CK document, or actually to be validated by anyone. And the other thing is, mhlambe esingayisho sometimes when we talk about business is how many times around how many times we failed. And something that we thought was easy, simple, someone said, come, bring me this and whatever, we thought it was easy, simple, you brought that thing, maybe you never got paid, maybe you couldn't even bring that thing because you couldn't source it. And that's failure on its own. And then sometimes you've built a business and then it fails. Like now, COVID, you build a business, it's a good business. We were talking about it at the back. Someone buys a business 2 months ago. They think it's going very well. And then something like COVID comes. So in your situation, it might not be COVID, it might be something else. But that's the reality. Business, you either get a profit or a loss. And it's just like that. There's a profit or a loss. There's no only profit. We were also talking earlier about the fact that, okay, we told like tender, so register everything. If your tender is 1 million, that's not your money. You still have to work and produce that work of the 1 million and then see who to earn. After your expenses, you sell namalin. So these are all some of the realities that people in Mhlambe have to sit down while they reset. If their businesses are not going right, or if they want to go into business and say, okay, how much do I want to make? Which business do I want to make? And what do I find is easier for me to do right now at this point?
Siyabonga kakhulu. Kulesi sikhathi lesi ngithanda nje ukubuyisela kuwena Maziya. Masubazise nje emakhaya ukuthi what kind of business you're doing and maybe a little testimony with that.
Ngiyabonga mfundisi. Khona point elike lasho baba Nzuza ukuthi with business you must have passion for that particular business. Although a business is to make money, but it's very important to have passion into yenzayo. Money will follow. Imali iza kangcono mwenze passion yento oyithandayo kunokuthi ubheke imali kuqala. Ngoba ubona abanye abantu benza imali ngale nto besiyayenza. Mina ngenze i-land survey, and ngesikhathi engasenza ngayo way back, there was only one institution in the whole country la sasifunda khona. Wonke umuntu wayeya khona, the whole country ayifunda lapho. And I had passion for this survey. And then I was at that time thina sifunda. Ongeke uvela uhambe uthi uyokwenza survey. You had to have a sponsor. Reason being, ufunda 6 months, and then 6 months mawubuye ufuna ukuhamba uyokwenza practical. So uma ungenaso sponsor ungekho la usebenza khona, uzoyenza kanjani practical? That is why in today's curriculum there is a problem yabantwana abaningi abahlale besifonela befuna ukwenza in service and awukwazi ukuthi yenzeke ngoba sibancane. So ngahamba ngayenza survey. I was sponsored by KwaZulu government. Kwama government I sponsorish and private companies. And if you know, survey deals with land. So kwakungafuneki ngempela abantu bayenze ngoba kudilwa nomhlaba la. Wena wazi indaba zomhlaba. So sasuka lapho KwaZulu government ngayeka ngoba they were doing a lot of roads. Ngase ngikhathele ukusebenza emgaqweni. Ngasuka lapho ngajoina uLTA building, senza ama buildings. Kwa LTA ngathathwa uSAPM esefuna the first time i-Permanent Building Society or government agreeing ukuthi abantu bathola ama bond. Then base beyangithatha ke senza ama bonds. That was in the 1980s and niyazi impilo yasemalokishini ayinjani ngaleso sikhathi. It was not safe. So then I went and joined Durban municipality at that time, eThekwini municipality manje. Ngasebenza khona until such time athi ake ngiphume ngiyobona phandle ukuthi kwenzekani. Then I opened a survey practice yami le ngiqhubeka ngayo namanje. Ngizaqhubeka lapho. And then I branched off kancane ngisengene kwi transport. So I'm doing a bit of transport. Kunjalo ke mfundisi. But the passion is important.
Passion is important. Siyabonga kakhulu baba uSibeko. Mhlambe lo mbuzo wokuqala umunye ngizovela ngokuphose kuwena. Hopefully sizokwazi ukusizana. Nginombuzo ngiyazi nabalela basekhaya, they want to know ukuthi in order to be in business or to be a business person, must I have connections or is it important for me to have connections?
Nice question mfundisi. Iqala la lento. Ake sithi uyaqala ufuna ukwenza something. One, awaziwa la ngaphandle. Awaziwa ngale service ofuna ukuyinika abantu. So you'll have your first client umenzele umsebenzi. It is critically important ukuthi lo oqala uwenze even exceeding but to the best of your ability. Ngoba uyena umuntu oqala lo ozothi mayise ufuna ukuqhubekela phambili uyena ozosho ukuthi ene kunosibeko la owenza ukuthi and umsebenzi wenza kahle. That's when usiqala ke sikuqhubeka inetwork yakho yabantu abafuna iservice yakho ngoba wenze kahle. And ukuze wenze kahle kufanele kube naleya passion ebesikhuluma ngayo eqaleni.
Mina mfundisi ngiyayibeka ngenye indlela. Ngithi ukuresponda ku response yakho mfundisi ngithi mhlawumbe udinga ama relationships to survive in the business. Those who are in business, they know what once you have a connection is linked to something. It's a connection limited, but if you have a relationship in the business, you are able to survive and stay afloat. Relationships are important as opposed to ama connections. Ama connections are linked to a person. Leo person or Leo individual uma ise masifika isikhathi sokuthi isuso lo sosihlalo esihleli kusona ihambile connection, you know, but more the relationship a relationship stays, is able to sustain you. Let me say ihambile a connection yeah.
Oyisho kahle.
Yeah, wayibeka kahle impela bamdosi. Ukuyihlanganisa nje esho bamdosi ema connection kuze ngabe limited kanye nalesho baba usibeke ukuthi your business system must be proper in such a way that ngokubona kwakho wena to your client ayinama flaws. So that I client mangabe lithola kuwe lizoba able nje badesha umfundisi to be able to talk to other people and say nangumuntu okhulumile owenzile kahle wasinikeza umsebenzi wawenza very exceptional. Ne compliance yakho futhi nokuthi abantu bakuthembe ukuthi uma uyenza into ukhombise ukuthembeka okukhulu more than anything to yourself ukuze ibusiness yakho likureveal lo.
Yeah. No, Mfundi, it's a very good question because, and futhi the question is provocative because manje umuntu ufuna umuntu othi no, I'm gonna start a business ngoba ngazi ubaba uNdosi. I'm gonna start a business because akusayona passion, akusayona manje idea. So manje lo muntu, and if this three item beliyona falls, it means lo muntu akasakwazi to think beyond. And I like the presentation yabamdosi ukuthi and if relationship lasts longer, even bamdosi engasekho kwi-position enkulu, relationship is still there. Yabo. So what we need to be honest and telling people that you really need to have relationship. And then once you've done that business, it will create those connections. We've made an example with another business person, he has done this other gentleman who has done the what you call the business luck. That business luck attracted people, and that those people coming to him then is now becoming connection. But then business luck, that business lesson attract abantu. So it's a good question, but also people need to know the truth. Really, a relationship is much better than having that connection. Yeah.
Mhlawumbe Mshazi and Fundis expand. A couple of years back, I was appointed as chairperson waga construction center. Being in that position for 5 years, ngayithola senginabangani abaningi who were connected to my position. I did not have a relationship with them, but they were connected to my position. Uma ngiyeka ngoJanuary, ngithi sengikhathele ukuba uchairperson wakasitha. All those people were connected to a position but disappeared because they were connected to a position and they were looking for things that are connected to a position. So uma sengiphuma kwi-position ababe connected kuyona baphuma ne-position nabo bayofuna abanye abazoconnecta kubona kuleyo position. So in business, if you get into a business ngoba uthi unama-connection, you will find it difficult uma uzolokhu uhlala kuma-connections. Instead, build relationships.
Yes.
Because relationships last longer than connections.
And can you confirm that what you're saying, that if in a relationship, even when you think now Babazia is now doing the transport, I believe that with relationship, people will follow you to any other business that you do because they have a relationship with you. Yeah. And if you have if it's a connection, then once a person is no longer a chairperson or a chairman of that particular body, you're no longer phoning the person because it was only because you wanted to use the position. So I think it's a very good question, Mfundis. Yeah, I hope abantu they
So
get it.
Emakaya City, don't look for connections because connections are the potential you share and the potential ukuthi ulinkwe kuthiwa umuntu kaNdosi lo.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh yes. Now you're talking.
Unayo indawo ukuthi ube ulabel to hayi bekumuntu kaNdosi useyambile uNdosi so usuhleli wena ulabelwe njengomuntu kaNdosi. You were connected to that position, you did not have a relationship. And more relationship, even no uNdosi esengasekho kuleyo position, you still have relationships in that organization and you can still continue to do business. But once you are connected or link or what, hey, umuntu kaNdosi ungamthinti.
Yeah.
Submit invoice emva komsebenzi. Figure invoice lo muntu kaNdosi. You know that usuyalebelwa njengomuntu kaSibanibani because you are connected. Once that person leaves that position, your business will not survive.
So uphuma uNdosi collapse business. I think ngiyathemba niyayizwa emakhaya nonke balalele lento ukuthi whenever you are starting a business or you are aspiring to be a business person, asingaphushi ukuthi sibe nama connections kakhulu. Nokuthi if I heard you correctly, bekuwukuthi you can start a business without having connections.
Yes.
Ukuthi ama connections ayafika aphinda hambe. Akekho umuntu who is guaranteed ukuthi njengoba esebenzela iorganization ethizeni uyoza retire kuyona kunama changes abantu bayamove bayashintshwa bayabekwa lana babuye bagudluzwe babo Mtolo.
No, Mfundisi, you're right. I mean, I'll go back to what I said earlier in terms of times. I remember growing up ukuthi mawuza abantu abadala bekhuluma wayengakhulumi nge-staff number wayekhuluma nge-pension number. Kusho ukuthi wayethi uma engena kulowo msebenzi it was clear ukuthi uzopensiona kona. But that doesn't happen anymore. I mean, everything has terms now. People talk about 5-year terms and the likes. But then in business, I think also what is also important is that you must know, Guti, when you now go and register a business, it's like you're giving birth to a child. So it's going to stand on its own. It has its own features. So if we're now now lenganele uzoyenza lama connections, kusho ukuthi you are shackling it ukuthi ibambeke lapho ingakwazi ukudlobala nokuthi ikhule differently or it reach its full potential. So I would really encourage ukuthi rather have the relationships that can make your business, because if you think about it, mangaka business where you go and buy things, my shopping mall now wherever, you don't know the owner. You don't. You know the name of the shop, but you don't know the owner. So how come that person can sell you stuff without you ever seeing them?
And you believe in
and
them.
you believe in them, you know. So it means that person was good in producing what they produced and in nurturing that business in the correct way. So sometimes we must just look at how things work and be naive. It won't work like that when it comes to us. It will work exactly like that. I don't have to be the face of the business for the business to work. It must be the product, and like Umamdo Subash, your service must be par excellent. People come for the service and not necessarily because Bazuguti Konomamdo Sigla business.
Yeah.
And if ngabeka nje mfundisi nami ukuthi into ebalekile ukuthi there's a very high and big cost in maintaining a connection, either financially, emotionally, and yes, for your business and yourself, rather than maintaining a relationship which is only based on how you deliver your product, how you deliver your service, and trust that I think a relationship is based mainly on trust. Mangeki trust, relationship is gone.
Yeah.
So for you to build trust in a relationship, your business, to deliver, client
and also what I've picked up over the years, ukuthi connection, ayibi na respect. I connection, ayina respect because ufonela noma inini any hour of the day. Awugijima uzokwenza ukuthi hey, yeka yonke into lapho. Kodwa a relationship, njengoba Shumamdo has trust and respect as well, you know. So I think it's one important thing that we should try and master if you're coming into business or you are in business. Let us master our relationships rather than mastering our connections. Siyabonga kakhulu. We thank you for tuning into our broadcast. The program yet is going to be a 2-part episode, meaning that we'll play this episode this week and next week. So, but next episode is I want you to tune in again. And also, Mtolo this card, play it back. There's a thing or two that you can pick up and learn from.